A lot of y'all might be like, man, P, damn that, man. I get your credit breakdown and all that, but guess what, man? We pass all that. I got the late payments. My credit looking a little shiesty. It's not looking good. What can you do for me? And so that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna take a deep dive into how can we fix these issues. What can we do on our side if we don't have perfect credit, or to even keep that perfect credit. I'm about to dive in. So now for the good stuff, man. Number one is anything can be wiped off your credit report.
What did he say?
That's just facts. Anything can be wiped off of your credit report. So when I say this, man, I hate to put it out there like that because it's not that simple, but it is, right? And I don't want you to think, man, I'm gonna just run this credit up, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and we gonna just wipe this shit off, because the goal is to maintain your financial discipline as much as you can. But let's say you already hit a couple bumps before you knew me, before you knew P and the podcast, and I'm getting you back popping. You already made your mistakes. Okay, I get it. So what can we do to move on from this? Well, number one is just know that your credit report can be wiped. That's just real spill. We can wipe some stuff off, but you have to understand this too. Whenever you're dealing with your credit report and your credit profile and getting things right and credit repair, you have to know what you're doing, or you have to be dealing with someone who knows what they're doing, because it's little subtle things that you can do that'll mess up your whole process before you even get started. So man, let's get right into what is the disputing process. So let's say you come to me, or let's say you just want to do it on your own. You want to go through the process of actually fixing your credit and getting everything right. So I'm gonna treat this situation like if you came to me and I helped you. So that's kind of the process we're gonna go through. If you come to me, first thing is we need to evaluate your credit profile. We need to see what's going on, and part of us seeing what's going on is making sure we got those credit reports. We get your credit reports, we take a look at them. We need a credit report from TransUnion, we need a credit report from Experian, and we also need a credit report from Equifax. Now ideally we'll get what we call a tri-merge report, which is when all three of those reports are merged into one. That's the easiest to look at. That's the easiest way for us to pinpoint inaccuracy if there may happen to be some, which it always is, trust me. So that's what we want. During the whole process of getting that credit fixed, you want some type of credit monitoring software that's going to be giving you these credit reports and your credit scores throughout the process, because that's one of the ways that you verify that information is actually being removed off of your credit report. If we're going through the process and we get information saying so-and-so has been removed, we just need that second means of verification, which is through the software or whatever we use to just confirm that, yeah, most definitely we don't see that on there anymore. We good to go. Then we can move on to the next step. Now, if I'm speaking with someone, let's say it's a friend, it's a buddy, they're not really that serious. I can kind of sense they're not that serious. I'm not going to waste too much of my time with that person. But if I do want to provide them with some assistance, I give them the free way to get those credit reports, which is annualcreditreport.com. Go to annualcreditreport.com and get all three of your credit reports. So that's major. If you don't know, now you know. It's no excuse for you not to know what's on your credit report. So then once we look at these credit reports, we basically trying to identify what's been going on with your credit. How many late payments do you have? How many negative accounts do you have? What's up with your hard inquiries? How many hard inquiries you may have that may be affecting your credit? Whatever we can figure out. But mainly, first thing we want to figure out is, okay, let's take a look at your personal information. First, I tell them, man, let's pull this credit report up. How many names on here do you not recognize? Or how many names on here is spelled wrong? I don't give a damn if it's one letter off. Get it off the credit report. Especially if it's a name you may not know. Any name that's not your exact name as it stands today, get that shit off your credit report, because it helps with the verification phase, which we'll talk about later. Number two is we look at the address. How many of these addresses do you not recognize? And even if you do recognize them, when was the last time you stayed at these addresses? What I like to do is I like to remove every address that's not current as I can. So any address that you don't live in now, I try to get it removed off the credit report. This is this day one type stuff. This is not even disputes. This is not us sending off no mail, no paperwork. This is you on the phone like, hey, I need these things fixed. This is my current address now. I don't recognize these other addresses. Now let me just pause and tell y'all, I cannot call on behalf of you to these credit bureaus, right? So I have you do it. I can be there with you. I could be on the phone. Well, I could coach you through that process, but that's something you have to do yourself. And the main thing is to know that when you're calling these people, you want to be polite. You never want to be mean. You never want to try to curse them out. It's better to keep it basic and simple, because all of this information is yours and they cannot tell you that you're wrong about your own information. So I've called for myself. I've had to call for some, I had some other people call, and a lot of situations you might run into is they might try to tell you, well, you have an account on your file that's linked to this name. And you just simply tell them, well, that's not my name. So if that account is linked to my name and this is not my accurate name, then that's an issue in itself. I handle that later, but what I'm trying to handle right now is correcting my names on my report. It's just that simple. So you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be crazy about it. You just want to be stern and let them know that I know my damn name. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me what my name is. You know, you don't want to say it like that, but I'm just telling y'all that's basically what this stuff is. And the same thing with the address. Of course, you live in some of these places, and of course, some of these addresses may be attached to a job. So you evaluate that as you will. But what I like to do, and if you look at my credit report, it only has one address on it. So boom, right? We going through our process. We getting ready to dispute our credit report. So we went through the process of verifying that our names are right. We know what names are right and what names are wrong and what we want to take off. That's fine. And we also went through the addresses. We know what addresses we want to keep. We know what addresses we want off. That's done. Another thing we may do before we get into our disputing process is just freezing those secondaries. Secondary bureaus are bureaus that hold information. So you have the primary, which we already know, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, but then you also have those secondaries, and they hold a whole lot of your information. So when your information is going through the process of getting verified, these secondary credit bureaus have a lot of that information as well as the primaries. So the secondaries can be frozen. That way it helps us on our end when we go to have these primary credit bureaus verify anything on our credit report that we deem to be inaccurate. The secondaries that may need to be frozen is LexisNexis, SageStream, ARS, Innovis, and CoreLogic. SageStream and LexisNexis are the same now. So once you freeze LexisNexis, you'll be freezing SageStream as well. But that just helps us with the verification process. Now, a lot of people tell you it's not mandatory. A lot of people tell you it may not even help. What I like to do is I like to do the most, and I do the most. So if it's a step that can help me, but it definitely don't hurt me, then I'm adding it to the repertoire. Now, some people may tell you, hey, just go freeze LexisNexis. You know, that's the bigger one. Go freeze LexisNexis, you'll be fine. Like I say, this whole process, you do what you want to do with it. I'm just giving you the information. Easiest way to do these freezes is to just go to Google and type in freeze whatever you're trying to freeze. So if you're trying to freeze LexisNexis, type in freeze LexisNexis. If you're trying to freeze Innovis, type in freeze Innovis. First link that you see it's not going to be a sponsored link. So that first link you see is going to be the link you want. So now we want to go through our credit report, and now we're looking at these accounts. We want to go through every single one of the accounts on our credit report, and first we want to verify, are those accounts that we recognize? Do we even recognize these accounts? And that's number one. Once we verify that these are our accounts, now we want to go and identify, okay, where are the negative accounts? We need to pull up every negative account on your credit profile, and we need to make sure that, okay, if it's reporting a 30-day late payment, that you are actually 30 days late making that payment. If it's 60 days, 90 days, whatever, we want to verify, is this information accurate? So let's say that we see an account on your credit report and it is your account. You are late on that payment. It's a terrible account. You may have 10 60-day missed payments. Now, after we do that, we just want to verify that all of the information about that account is accurate. And not only is it accurate on that report, you want to make sure that that information is accurate and consistent with all three of the bureaus. So if, let's say, it may say you opened up that account June 1st, 1999, and if you say, okay, well, I didn't open that account to 2000. That's the inaccuracies that we're talking about. Or if it says on one report you opened it in 2020, and then we go and look at another report and it's saying 2021. And let's say we go look at another report and it's saying 2021 as well, but it has a different month.
Got him. We fucking got him.
All of those are inaccuracies, and that's how we get this stuff removed. Because what you got to realize, it's law that supports that if we have inaccurate information reporting about us to the credit bureaus and really to the world, whoever checks your credit report, then that information has to be moved, and it has to be removed immediately. So it's just that simple. If we go through this process and this information cannot be verified, the information has to go. Simple and plain. So that kind of couples with the fact of that's why so many people are big proponents of go and freeze those secondaries. That way, when this information is in the process of being verified, it's not verified and it has to be deleted. So now that we went through our credit report and we figured out, okay, what information are we going to dispute? We have a list of everything we're going to dispute. We know what we're going to dispute. Now it's time for us to start making our dispute letters and getting those ready to mail off to these credit bureaus. When we getting our dispute letters ready, the thing you need to understand is what type of dispute letter are you using? What type of dispute are you making, and what type of letter are you using? Because the dispute you use is going to correspond with the type of dispute that you actually are making. Now, people, when we doing this disputing process, we want to send everything certified mail. That way we able to certify when the mail was received. And the main reason for that is once we send this information to these credit bureaus, they have 30 to 45 days to reply. If they don't reply back in those 30 to 45 days, then that's automatic no response, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to force their hand. We're giving them only the allotted amount of time to make a decision on what the process is. So if they can't make a decision in 30 to 45 days, to us that means no response. So now it's time for us to hit them up on that first round. A round is just a process of making contact with the credit bureaus and waiting for them to make contact with us back, right? So that first round of the dispute is always going to be verification letters. Our first dispute letter is going to be a verification letter. We just need the credit bureaus to verify that everything on this credit report that we're looking at is accurate. And when I say everything, I don't mean a total credit report. What I mean is everything that we plan on disputing. Whatever we've got gathered together to dispute, that's what we're asking them to verify. Now, some people say, okay, you only want to dispute a couple of items at once. Some people say dispute the whole damn credit report. I say what you want to do is you want to do everything you can prior to the disputing process to help with getting your information handled the right way. And what I mean by that is if you're dealing with somebody like me and I've added that personal touch to those dispute letters, and we have real signatures on those dispute letters, and we have it notarized, and we have identification, 2 forms of identification, then I'm going to dispute every little inaccuracy that I see, because that's less likely to go through that stall process as if you're just going through a software where you're doing it yourself, or you're going through somebody who don't really care that much and they're just using the software and they're using these same random common dispute letters that everybody else use, and now you don't have a signature on your dispute letter because it's a electronic signature, or now it's not notarized. That's a lot more likely to get stalled out. And so those type of people who use that software, those are the type of people that want to only do a couple disputes at a time to help with not getting stalled out. But us, because we done everything the right way, we put that personal touch and everything on that, we're not necessarily worried about getting stalled out, even though it does happen. But we're going to dispute everything we possibly can, because of the big thing is if we can get all this shit off now, let's get it all off now. That's another thing. You know, you have some of these credit repair companies that their whole plan is to keep you on payroll for so and so amount of months or so and so year, which is fine. You know, this stuff takes time, so don't get it twisted like it's a quick fix. It takes time, but it may not take as long as some people make it seem to take. You get what I'm saying? If you have 10 disputes, let's knock all 10 of those disputes out right now, versus we gonna do 2 now, we gonna do 2 more later, we gonna do 2 more, because you got to understand every round that you do, it's going to take 30 days, or it could take 30 days. They have 30 days to respond. And more times than none, they're going to use up all 30 of those days before they respond to you. So you just got to understand this process is not no quick fix, but we're not worried about quick. We're worried about accuracy. Worried about getting it right. We're worried about building for the future. So that's the big thing about that. You got to understand, we don't care how much time it takes, long as it's done right. We just want to make sure our process is done right.
I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly. I just don't want to waste no time.
So that's the first thing. The first thing we want to do is we want to contact all of these bureaus with a verification dispute letter. And all we're asking for is just verify the information. That's the first step. Just verify the information. So in a perfect world, once we send those verification dispute letters out, they'll send us mail back saying, hey, we took a look at it and you're right. We couldn't verify any of that information. We deleted it all. That's a perfect world. In a perfect world, nothing can be verified. So since it can't be verified, it has to be deleted. So let's say we were disputing 10 items. All 10 items are white. That's a perfect world. That's not really how it goes all the time, right? So most of the time, especially now because you have all this software, you got everybody want to do it themselves. These credit bureaus literally are style you out, and they'll send you some information that says something along the lines of, hey, we really want to help you. We get where you're coming from. We understand the information and we understand your concerns, but we're just not sure that you are you. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to need more information from you before we can move further with your process. And so if you ever receive that, all that was a stall. They're trying to stall you out. They're trying to waste time. They're really hoping that you say F it, and give up. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep pressing, baby, because that's what we do. This is another thing to help us avoid that whole stall process. That's why I'm telling you guys, make sure you add a little personal touch to your dispute letter. So even if you're getting these generic dispute letters, you need to make sure you're doing it the right way. And even if you're working with a professional, make sure that they're putting a little personal touch on it, because it's fine to use a standardized dispute letter, but you need to add some information that's just your regular touch. That way, when that system eOSCI is scanning this paperwork, it's not sounding like every other piece of paper coming through for verification. So let's say you go through the process of sending out that first batch of dispute letters and you don't get no response, right? You ask for verification, they didn't respond at all. Our next letter to them is just going to be us telling them, hey, I'm very serious about my credit profile and my information that's being reported about me. I sent you guys paperwork asking for verification on several different disputes. You didn't respond. I'm going to give you another chance to be able to respond and provide me accuracy in what you're reporting, because under federal law, it is provided that you must have only 100% accurate information in your files on whoever you're reporting on. And right now, this information for my file and this information for me is not correct. I asked and requested for you guys to verify. You failed to verify. I'm going to give you another chance to verify. And here's the information that I was asking for you to verify in the first place. It's basically what's going to be on that second piece of mail that we sent to those credit bureaus after we asked them for verification and we didn't get it in response. Or they may reply that, no, you were wrong. We verified with these credit furnishers or with the credit companies like let's say Capital One. We verify with them that this information is accurate. You were late on your payment or you were past due. If we get those type of letters back from the credit bureaus, we say, okay, that's fine. Now we need you to reinvestigate. Once they send us information saying that they verified that account, we just going to send them information back saying we need you to reinvestigate. We need you to re-verify. And we also need to know your process, because in our minds, this information is still invalid. So that's that step if they actually send you back paperwork saying it was verified. So look, man, that's phase number one when it comes to disputing. Sending those first waves, that first round of mail out, and then sending out that second round. I can go on and on forever about third rounds and whatever the case. It's just going to take too long. But that'll get you guys started with moving in the right steps and making the right moves in order to get your credit profile and your credit report fixed. But like I say, as far as how many rounds something may take and what's in each round, that shit'll take forever, man. I'm not gonna even go down that rabbit hole. But what I have given you is enough to get you jump started and moving in the right direction. Anyways, man, it's your boy International P, man. Stay tuned. We're gonna make sure we keep these credit videos coming. Anything financial, that's what we're gonna talk about on this page. I do wholesaling, I do flipping of real estate. That's a big thing we're gonna cover on this page. We're gonna definitely keep covering credit and credit repair, because I work with a lot of people on that. And we're gonna cover business structuring, man, being able to structure your business the right way and get that business funding. So just understand, content may change, but it's all concerning getting this bag, man. When I talk about Big Steppers Podcast, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stepping. I'm talking about moving, getting some motion, moving towards your goals, building for the future. Hey, listen, man, I love you. I appreciate you. It's your boy International P. Thank you for tapping in with me. Like, subscribe, comment. If you don't like anything about what I said, say P, boy, that shit trash. If you love it, say P, I love you in the comments. Give me some thumbs up. I appreciate every single one of y'all. If you need help from me, if you got a question for me, if you need a consultation, hit me up in my email, heyp@bigstepperspodcast.com, and we could talk it over. Other than that, I'm gonna keep dropping these videos, and eventually, or hopefully, one of these videos help. Hopefully one of them spark you to move in the right direction. Hopefully one of them give you information you need, or that little piece that you've been missing. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I created the channel for, is just to try to bring that knowledge, education. I'm just trying to share that with whoever listens. I want us all to have the credit we deserve, man. So if you need your credit repaired, man, make sure you put in the knowledge and you get that done yourself, or you pay somebody like me or any individual to do it. But make sure you get it done, man, because we moving with motion, man. It's late 2023. We want to move into 2024 and really be handling our business.
Don't come around with no negativity. Get your mind right. Big motion.